USD 393 update on Eagle Community Television is brought to you by Solomon State Bank, with locations in Solomon, Abilene, and Salina. Go Gorillas! Solomon State Bank, member FDIC. Bush's Market in Solomon, your hometown market supporting the Solomon School District and the community. City of Solomon. The City of Solomon is a huge supporter of USD 393 and all it does for our community. And Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Hi, I'm Brad Hallman. We're here this morning at USD 393 Solomon Schools for our monthly USD 393 update. With me this morning is Justin Cope, Superintendent of Schools, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on this month and what's ahead for the Solomon Schools. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's great to come to you guys and be able to talk about Solomon Schools.
And it's awesome to have Eagle do this for us. We appreciate being able to promote the schools and promote what's happening within our walls. Justin has some students here with him this morning that we'd like to introduce here shortly and talk a little bit about what they're doing. And then we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the community-wise as it relates to school.
You bet. It's always better to hear from the students than to hear from us. So they're the ones that make the school and make it what it is. So it's good to have them here today.
Absolutely.
It is a pleasure today to have these three students with us. They do amazing things here at Solomon, so we wanted a chance to bring them in here and visit with them a little bit about what they do, what they're a part of, academically, athletically, activity-wise. One of the nice things about being a member of a small school is the fact that you get to be involved in so many things. So at this time, we'd like to visit with Carly Roletter, a junior here at Solomon High School, and sort of visit with her about some of the things she's involved in and what she's doing. So first off, Carly, tell us how the year's going.
My school year is going pretty well. Volleyball season, we ended 21-14 with a winning record, but we're losing 5 seniors, so that's going to be tough on us. We have a returning coach, which really helps our program. She's built our program very well. I'm also involved in many other organizations like FFA, FCCLA, and FBLA. So.
Now, what's your favorite subject in school, though?
By far, English.
English. You don't find too many students that like English as their favorite subject, so that's good to hear. What are some things in English class that you've been doing that you're most proud of?
We do a lot of PowerPoints. We read and writing.
And writing?
Writing's my favorite.
Writing's your favorite. Well, good. Well, you guys had a great year in volleyball, activity-wise. How many did you have out for volleyball this year?
18.
18 out. Well, great. And we know we hosted Sub-State this year, and it was great to see the girls and advancing to the semifinal round. It was great to be here and have all the support. So good job, Carly. Next, we're going to speak with Bailey Finmore. She's a junior here at Solomon High, and she's on the cheerleading team. And so we're excited to have her. And Bailey has some other interests outside of school that we want her to discuss with us. And not only are our students involved in school, but they're also involved in many organizations outside of school. So we're going to let Bailey sort of talk about her outside interests right now.
My outside interests, one thing that school got me involved into was this thing called HOBie. It stands for Hugh O'Brien Youth. It's a leadership program that I was sent to over the summer last year. I was individually picked out, and it taught me how to be a better leader. And then this summer, I also got selected to go to WLC, which is a World Leadership Congress, and it was a week-long thing in Chicago, and it also just expanded my leadership abilities and taught me how to. It really helped me with, many different things, not just how to be a better leader, but public speaking. It helped me a lot with that, and there were a lot of motivational speakers, and I actually think it helped me, get the courage to try out for the cheer team because this is my first year. And yeah.
Well, obviously with the public speaking part, you've got down, so we're excited that you're a part of the cheer team. Tell me a little bit about the cheer team and how many you have out this year.
We have 10 cheerleaders on our squad, and right now we are currently focusing on working on stunting. We're stunting a lot this year, and I was really nervous about that because this is my first year as a cheerleader, and I was so scared. I am a base, and so I have to lift people up. And I've gotten a lot better, and I think it's thanks to all the other girls on the team for helping me.
So what's your favorite memory so far as a cheerleader in the short season that we've had?
Well, we had a at-home camp where 3 Kansas Westland students came and helped us out, and it really helped me bond with all the other girls and expand my knowledge of cheerleading.
Oh, well, good, good. So same question that I asked Carly. What's your favorite subject in school?
I really like math. Math is my favorite.
And what math class are you in currently?
I'm in Algebra 2.
Algebra 2. All right. Well, thank you for not only being a part of our cheerleading team, but also your outside interests.
Of course. Thank you.
And last but not least, we're going to speak with Kane Fowles. He's a senior here at Solomon High School. Kane, tell us a little bit about your year and your thoughts so far.
Well, my year's been going pretty good. The football team's been doing great. That's awesome.
Man of many words, by the way.
Yeah.
This is, you put him in front of a camera and he stops talking. You take the camera away and he'll talk your ear off. So tell me a little bit about what you think your favorite subject is.
My favorite subject's history.
And why history?
I just love learning about what's happened in the past.
Okay. Football team is off and running, playing this weekend for a regional round against St. Francis. What are your thoughts, even though this will air a little bit after that game? Tell me your thoughts so far on the season. What's been a bright spot, or what's been the favorite part of the year so far?
Well, my favorite part of the year is this playoff run we've had. It's good that we have many people we have on our team, 31 people. That's always good. We have great depth this year, and that's been a great help to the team.
Okay, good. Anything else you'd like to tell everybody out there about Solomon High? Okay, well said, well said. Well, we wanted to give you a snapshot of some of our students and their abilities and the things that they're a part of. One of the things at Solomon High is that they're involved not only in school, in the classroom, but also involved in our activities. And then, as Bailey said, they're involved in other things outside of school as well that sort of make it a well-rounded student. So we want to thank these students for all their efforts and for their time here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, well, having heard from the students, you know, one thing about a school that comes to mind is why are we all here? It's for three very fine examples that you just heard from of why we are here and why we do what we do. So back to some of the items that are happening in the school that we think that are important. Let's talk about a few of those things, Justin. Recently we went through a strategic planning process. And I know you guys talked a little bit at the last monthly update about that, but let's talk a little bit more about the outcomes of that and some of the topics that came out of that.
Right. Well, one of the things that came out of it, there were 5 areas, and we talked a little bit about them last month, but some of the things that have happened since then, you might say, is that first and foremost is probably a technology plan and coming up with where we want to go in the next 3 years with technology. And so, for instance, right before we started taping today, we're looking at getting our own Solomon app for USD 393 and trying to find out ways to better communicate. So it comes back to not only technology, but it also comes back using technology as a communication tool, which we found out in the strategic plan is one of the things that I think every organization can do a better job in communicating. So as far as technology goes, we're looking at an app to communicate better with our public and to find ways to get our message out there, changes in events and things like that. That's one of the things. Yesterday we went and we toured another part of the strategic plan was looking at early education. And obviously the governor and more importantly the commissioner of education, it's one of the focuses for them. We'll not talk about the finance part of it, but it is, excuse me, one of the things that they're focused on. So for us, we went and we explored 3 different schools yesterday and how they do early ed. And we got some good ideas and some good starting points for our school and things that we can explore and look at down the road. It's one of those things that I think the benefits of early education pay huge dividends by the time they get to 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. You see those scores and you see their abilities increase so much.
And that's kind of a double-edged sword because from the Solomon community, we're looking at that from 2 vantage points. One, obviously, the benefits of getting kids into the educational structure early, but also the lack of daycare and the ability for parents to have some place to take their kids parents that work
Right.
when they're that age. So
we've got several of them that take their kids to Salina and have daycare facility there, and they'll start their preschool program over there. We'd like to have them over here because they're a part of our community, or they go to Abilene. We just like to keep them here. We're looking at different ways, and as a school board member, you know that if we can make it to where it's a 3- and 4-year-old, or maybe just a 4-year-old, who knows yet? But if we can make it all day long, that's a huge benefit for our community and for our parents, and it just makes it a little bit easier for them. But it's still in the early stages, but it's something we definitely need some feedback. So if you have some feedback out there and you have thoughts and opinions, don't hesitate to let us know on that. So we've got a good start, though.
Absolutely. I remember as a parent in our children's younger days how difficult it was to find a good, competent daycare, just a daycare that we were comfortable with, let alone having one that would educate the kids and bring in that perspective. And I think we all agree at previous meetings and conversations, and it came out in the strategic planning from the members of the community how beneficial that would be to the community as a whole. And so that's critical, I think, in the growth of our community, one of the aspects.
Very much so. And we currently have a community-ran daycare, and they do a great job. The problem is that if you don't live and work here, or you can't necessarily get your child here for that 3- and 4-year-old program because it's a half-day program. And so that's the reason why we're trying to look at expanding it a little bit and maybe bringing it in underneath the school's wing to provide some other things as well.
Some of the other things that go on a daily basis, I know you came in and you were a little bit rushed this morning because you get bombarded from a lot of different angles, and I don't think the general public or the parents really understand what it takes on a daily basis to keep the wheels on the bus here, no pun intended. Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on, and capital improvements and things that you, the board, that we really have to consider as to keep things going. Yeah,
when you have a facility as nice as ours, one of the things that you continually have to do is maintain their facilities and keep them up to date. And for instance, we're looking at updating our carpet in several classrooms and in the library that we're in right now today, and just those general things. So before I came up here, I was on the phone with the carpet guy, you might say, and getting quotes from him. So, and looking at different samples and different things that are out there. So it's amazing the things that take place and the amount of time you spend in a day dealing with those things. But those are things that are important for our community and our school to continue to keep nice facilities, and we're lucky to have a K-12 facility. A lot of advantages to having a K-12 facility, and in order to do that, you got to maintain those. So from that standpoint, we're looking at maintaining them. We've updated our security measures this past summer. We'll continue to do that. As far as we've got 36 cameras, I think, throughout the building, and then for the first time, you have to buzz in to get into our facility. We don't have open doors, and that's a good thing. Parents can rest assured when they send their kid that the doors will be locked down. It's going to be hard to get in. Now, some of them got to get used to that because you can't just go walking in to get your students. So we've had to train that. And with that, when you do, we also have it's a video feed, so we know who we're letting in. It's not just a buzzer system. So, those are the capital updates that happen, and it takes a lot of time and effort from not only myself, but many staff members and certified and classified alike to make it happen. Unfortunately,
in the world we live in today, we're required to do that. But as a parent, I feel much more comfortable, as I'm sure you do, that someone just can't come and have free roam of our campus. And we are unique having a campus that's all connected together. You mentioned earlier technology, and that's, that the old adage, as soon as you buy a computer, as soon as you buy something technologically, that, as soon as you purchase it, it's outdated. And that really comes into play in the school umbrella with hundreds of personal devices, and nowadays with the kids all having all their iPads, at Solomon we have the one-to-one initiative and trying to stay on top of that for a small school. That's a big challenge. It's a huge challenge, and it's one of those that you almost have to develop that 3 to 5 year technology plan so you don't have that huge cost up front. You can sort of spread that cost out over 5 years, and that's in fact just on Wednesday of this week we met with the teachers and sort of started talking about what they might want to see down the road and trying to budget and trying to set a budget for that, because we want to see what's being used and what's valuable. You don't want taxpayer money to be wasted on just throwing money at a problem or trying to just throw money to hopefully there's a solution there. You want to have a plan behind it. And so we started some of those things and trying to get
and now they've been one-to-one for 2 years trying to figure out, okay, where are we at, what can we do better, how can we be more efficient and more effective. And so those are good discussions and good dialogue, and then that will allow us to figure out how we actually create that technology plan and start to, like you said, unfortunately when you buy it, the technology has then gone by the wayside. And so then how do we start to roll it over and start new the next year and the next year and the next year?
And there's so many different vendors out there and so many different types of stuff. We get bombarded with what's the best. Mine's the best, this is the best, and trying to decide that in itself is almost a full-time job.
And I think that goes back to our teachers and them being effective teachers and utilizing technology in the classroom. It's not about the device that's in the hand. The device does not teach the student. It's still the teacher in charge of the classroom, and the teacher's finding ways to reach those students through technology and utilizing it in the classroom. It's not for them just to sit there and play iPad games as some people might think. It's finding ways to keep them engaged and to become 21st century learners, as they say.
Right. And some of that technology includes the ability to regulate what the kids have on their devices, the good or bad. And being able to monitor that, because kids will be kids, and sometimes we have to monitor those things. So.
We do, and then we've got a great person. Mark Chardine does a great job in helping us out as tech director and keeping on top of what's out there and still keeping cost as a focus for us. Because like you said, you're continually bombarded with vendors and this and the best product, and this is what we can do for you. So we've got a good person with a lot of knowledge and background helping us in the background a little bit.
Well, I know economic development's another kind of a buzz
Yep.
phrase that we hear a lot nowadays across the board. It's critical to Solomon. It's critical to the schools. One of the things that came out of our strategic meetings was the need for some growth in the community and at several different levels. Let's talk about that a little bit. The school is one of the primary components of the community. And we like to see that grow, and we like to be vibrant. Solomon has declined over the past few years a little bit, like most rural schools. But we kind of have a strategy and a plan on what we're going to do to try and grow the community. One of the factors the issues we have is we just don't have enough homes in town. And we've got some ideas. Recently met with the City Commission, Solomon City Council, and brainstormed a little bit on what to do to grow our community, make more homes available. Let's talk about that.
When we met with the City Council, joint effort, trying to think of ways to grow the community, and we've got all sorts of things in the works, from the lots that are already for sale, that are basically been removed, old houses have been taken down, and so those lots are available within the city limits. And then there's also an area up north that is by interstate that's being developed and quite possibly could be used for home use as well as commercial. And so try and find ways, and several people have been put together to sort of try to get an interest going. And so with the city, along with the city, December 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, correct? December 2nd is we're going to call it the Solomon Community Showcase. And so we'll have a builder come out and discuss it from You Build It, and we'll be housing it here and hosting it here at Solomon that evening, and sort of to talk about what options are there available. How can I build a house? What lots are available here at Solomon? What are some things that we offer that maybe some other communities don't offer? And so we're excited about that night and with the city and hosting it, and hopefully we'll have a good turnout for that evening.
Yeah, the December 2nd, again, we're planning on having the host there, which would be the You Build It company, and then have people there to answer questions for anyone who might be interested, not only from Solomon, but from surrounding communities, surrounding states for that matter. Anybody that might be interested in small town life, we've got the best to offer, we feel like, here, and if you want to come learn what it might be, what options might be available to you to build a home. You can build your dream home at an economical price. And what it would take, we're excited about that. And we hopefully will have a good turnout.
Well, we're excited to host it here because the next question is, where do I have housing? The next question is, what are the schools like? So during that time, one of the thoughts behind the process was to host it here, so that way people from outside of the community would have a chance to view our school and actually see a K-12 facility and what it looks like. And it's amazing every time you bring in a new family. They're amazed at what we have here at Solomon.
Right. Well, there's so many different things going on under the school umbrella.
Yep.
That it's difficult to talk about them all, but we've hit on a few today. But it's very exciting times in school districts. We're excited about the way Solomon's going.
No doubt.
We've got a lot of good kids. We've got a lot of good programs, and we just take a day at a time. So appreciate your time this morning.
You bet.
Appreciate
It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate Eagle's time and coming over and supporting our schools. So on behalf of Solomon Schools and the students and faculty and the community, this has been Brad Hallman, Justin Cope. Thanks for viewing.
USD 393 update on Eagle Community Television is brought to you by Solomon State Bank, with locations in Solomon, Abilene, and Salina. Go Gorillas! Solomon State Bank, member FDIC. Bush's Market in Solomon, your hometown market supporting the Solomon School District and the community. City of Solomon. The City of Solomon is a huge supporter of USD 393 and all it does for our community. And Eagle Communications, our community connected.